Hello, everyone. Stellar and Blend Capital. This is some new recent news in regards to this project that's built into the Stellar ecosystem. So you're going to want to hear about this because now we're getting some new updates from Stellar in regards to some other particular projects. How cool is this? This one stands out for me because basically speaking, it is something that's familiar to me, and it might be familiar to you. As you guys know, I have covered Clearpool since the beginning of when this channel started. And basically speaking, did about 50 videos on Clearpool, but it reminds me of Clearpool. So you're going to want to stick around to the end of the video to get an answer on that, because we're going to tie into why this is significant by comparing it, of course, to the performance of Clearpool. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. You're going to want to see the similarities of this and, of course, compare it to things like Clearpool. But build on Stellar? How awesome is that? Let's jump into the material. Here we go. First thing is this right here from the new shared or repost from Stellar. As you can see, it's the fundamentals. More importantly, how long ago was this really shared? Well, basically speaking, it was yesterday, November 20th. And like you see from script 3, Blend is on the Lobstr mobile app. This is not a drill like it says. Okay, what do we have? Blend is a decentralized liquidity protocol that enables entities and users to create and join custom lending pools for diverse financial needs. DeFi, lending, you kind of get the gist. But what's really, really cool is when we get more into this, you will see here from blend.capital, create, deploy, blend. Decentralized lending pools created by users, DAOs, and institutions. Now, a while back, I did do a video in regards to some specific things that Danelle Dixon got into about what she felt as though would be big for, let's face it, 2024, 2025 moving forward. If you remember that particular clip from her, the person interviewing her states specifically, like, if you had to pick one thing that you're most bullish on moving forward for Stellar, what would that be? And she said in that interview, DAOs. Now, check this out. As you can see on the screen, decentralized lending pools created by users, DAOs, and institutions. Now, I get it. There's other particular projects on Stellar that boast some of this, but nonetheless, this one's new. So, you guys want some new news? This one is definitely worth a listen. As I get further into this, I want to show you the significance about this because, yeah, some key highlights, especially when it comes to institutions, but more importantly, can we try this on testnet? Well, I'll show you a little brief glimpse of that. But when we get into it, it's understanding these concepts. Because when I talk about like Clearpool, for example, well, what about that? What about the whole thing in this white paper about choosing pools? Well, I like some of these statements because, like it says, you can ensure the assets supported as collateral in the pool are safe collateral assets. Generally, low volatility and high liquidity assets make good collateral. I mean, say what you want, everybody. At the end of the day, these are the terms that institutions are looking for. Anything that involves no volatility for the most part and less of a risk, okay, or low volatility, I should say no volatility, right? These are the things that they want to see, because if anything, it's just like, yeah, we're gonna take a chance on this. Do we already have the trust there? Yes, we do. Stellar is a name brand at this particular point, right? Or by this time. As I jump more into this, I'm gonna take you over to this. This is from the testnet. Test it out for yourself, right? Testnet.blend.capital. And let's face it, does it really have Lobstr on it? Well, the answer is yes. And you see some of these other ones. Wallet Connect, XPOOL, so on and so forth. But here's the thing. This is what caught my attention because, again, this reminds me of Clearpool to a sense, because as you see here, what's supplied, what's borrowed, there's other ones that do it as well, but I think this is a massive step forward for Clearpool. And more importantly, it's understanding some other key things like, stable pair pools and, how active it is, and You know, for example, like remember when we talked about emissions? I don't know if you guys remember some of this talk that we did back in the day on the last show. So you can see how it comes together, and more importantly, see how it pairs with other particular ones out there. And when we click on borrow, well, it kind of gives you an idea how it all comes together. And the other thing is, yeah, it says, you know, an error because I don't have my wallet connected, but nonetheless, it's just a test net. So nonetheless, I'm going to take you over to here because let's face it, how many times have we referenced the whole concept of tokenizing debt? All right. Stellar is really going to go after this. Why wouldn't they? You know? So check this out. Something I zoomed in on that's also part of that white paper. Look what it says. Backstop manager manages isolated lending pool backstop modules which assume and repay bad pool debt and distribute what? BLND, the actual token of this project. How cool is that? So you get a emissions manager. It emits BLND tokens to the backstop manager for distribution. And you can see how the money literally flows, or in this case, the blend. So what about the isolated lending pools? Well, they determine what assets are supported, supply parameters, if the pool is owned or decentralized, and which Oracle, of course, is used for pricing. And then it kicks it over again to the left, assumes and repays bad debt. So at the end of the day, it's all there, and you can even see how the Oracle would work on that to basically get the price. They have what they call a pool factory. Again, look more into it if you choose to do so, but everything is there in regards to deposits, because we talk about the, you know, tokenized deposits. Boom, there you go. And then more importantly, it's understanding how it all flows, like what will be repaid, who's going to borrow what kind of liquidation would be there, right? Are they going to freeze assets? Again, look more into it, do more of your own research. But the key thing is understanding how it all flows, because again, if I'm going to talk about Clearpool, one of the things that gets brought up in regards to Clearpool is, of course, it's a lending protocol, not just, for example, you know, a platform where you go and earn interest by, you know, providing your stable coins and whatnot, right? So, like it says, lending. How does lending with blend work? Lenders supply assets they wish to lend to blend lending pools. Borrowers then may borrow the assets by posting collateral to the pool and paying interest to lenders. Well, that's interesting. And the cool thing is, Clearpool does a very similar thing because with them, you know, especially if you use Clearpool, they have a thing basically. What are you going to be rewarded with the native token, right? It would be CPOOL. Well, same model, everybody. And that is you get rewarded instead of obviously CPOOL, you get it with BLND. And I think that speaks volumes, in my opinion, moving forward, especially understand that this is a project that's part of the Stellar ecosystem. The other thing I want to jump into is this. Is there any type of required infrastructure? Well, the answer is yes. There are multiple bots that pool creators need to ensure are running to maintain a pool safety. But more importantly, what happens to bad debt? Well, liquidation bots must be set up to monitor the pool and liquidate any underwater users. Funny how that's mentioned. The same bot should be used to fill bad debt auctions. If one is created without one of these bots, users may create bad debt, harming backstop depositors. Yikes, right? So you can earn interest on this as well. And again, some of this kind of reminds me of how Clearpool set up. All right, speaking of Clearpool, this is not necessarily a Clearpool video. And if anything, I look forward to cover more of Clearpool, especially here soon. You know, I still believe in it. And again, this channel was pretty much founded on me doing a bunch of Clearpool videos. But look what you see. They are branching out, of course, to making their own blockchain. Like it says, Ocean, the blockchain for RWA yield. But at the top, very similar, right? Lending, staking, bridge, borrowers. You get it. First decentralized credit marketplace, and look at all those loans originate, right? Well, can Stellar do something very similar with this new blend, right? I think the answer is yes. And more importantly, just to jump right to the, right to the chase, right? If you were to go over to CMC's listing for CPOOL, CPOOL is a gem, everybody. At the end of the day, I know that a lot of you guys aren't into this, and you may think, you know, like there's always going to be one person. Why you mention this? I'm just here for the stellar. It's examples, everybody. You need to see an example to get an idea of the whole thing of like what kind of potential could we get with this particular stellar project of Blend in their ecosystem. That's the bottom line. Look at Clearpool, right? You have, for example, you know, these big numbers, over 1,000% on the year, and you know it's crushing it. Well, the bottom line is this, you know, can, for example, Stellar's Blend crush it as well? I think the opportunity is there. I mean, obviously look more into the tokenomics if you choose to do so, but what's going to state is yes, yes, absolutely yes, as part of that Stellar ecosystem. And again, think about the whole concept: decentralized liquidity protocol built on the Stellar blockchain, allowing users to create, of course, lending pools, access DeFi protocol solutions, functionalities within the Stellar network. You know, one thing I will point out before we close this out, because it's not a very long video, it's the functionality. You know, Blend acts as a a building platform for various DeFi applications, obviously lending, borrowing, and of course, don't forget yield. I mean, even when we go back to the whole thing of Clearpool, and I'll share it on your screen one more time, it's understanding the whole concept of what? Yield, and especially when it comes to DeFi. Boom, there you go. Once again, what does it say? Ocean, the blockchain for RWA yield. So when we talk about like Stellar already has this plug for example, Blend. Similar model that you see literally with Clearpool, but Clearpool kind of did it the opposite way, right? They start off as a token with Ethereum, and then of course, you know, they have all these other ones. Just to give you a heads up, I mean, there's so many, right? So many. And basically speaking, you know, when we get into it, it's like, yeah, look at that. I remember when they were just on Ethereum, they did bridges with Mantle, Optimism, so on and so forth. You don't see it right now, but there's also, like, for example, Polygon. All right, I just got kicked out of it because I'm not, you know how the whole thing is, not being in the United States. So nonetheless, opportunity there. And if anything, we're gonna follow this a little bit more, and I think there's gonna be more developments even on other ones coming out for Stellar down the road, especially for things like Soroban, their source swap. So again, some of you guys requested some of this, thought I would bring it to you. Hey, do me a favor, if you listen to the entire outline, and simply type this into the comments, and that is CPOOL, and I'll know that you listen to the entire outline. Really appreciate you guys listening to these outlines. As the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. We will see you on the next one. If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. Say goodbye to complicated setups and hello to Decent Wallet, the hassle-free solution to your digital currency needs. With just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.